Hello there everyone, welcome back to another episode of Try New Things, where we're going to start episode number 2 of our greenhouse build. Now behind me, you should see that we're picking up pretty much where we left off at the end of episode 1, with one exception. So I'm going to show you that now before we dive right into the framing. So the next thing I'm going to show you is going to appear in my framing video anyway, and it's something I've been pecking away at for the last few days while I've been gathering and bringing materials for the framing out here to the barn. So I might as well go ahead and show you that. It has something to do with the greenhouse, but nothing to do with the framing, but I'll show you that right now. And here it is, stone pathway from the driveway to the front of the greenhouse, which is also going to act like a little seating area, hopefully, when we're done. So I've got the stones laid. I got to come back and put grout between them. But stones are free out here on the farm. There is no shortage of limestone rocks. The only cost for me is time and, of course, some more mortar. And between that new walkway and the footer for the greenhouse, I do want to provide some separation. So I picked up on Amazon this 4-inch expansion joint foam. So it's closed cell foam. I'm just going to run it up against the existing footer before I put in my mortar. And that'll act as an expansion joint. So here's what that walkway looks like completed. It took another 4 bags or 320 pounds of mortar to fill in the gaps in between the limestones. So I'll add that to my total cost at the end of this episode. And just wanted to show you that foam expansion joint between the footer and the stone pathway there. So it is doing its job, serving the purpose of an expansion joint. So in addition, I went ahead and completed that drain. You had seen the PVC pipe in the first episode. So it runs underneath the new walkway, underneath the topsoil and straw. And you can see it here where I stub it up in the back, where I haven't quite backfilled yet. But again, that's for a future rainwater harvesting overflow. So I'll add those costs to the total as well. But let's get on to the fun stuff. Let's get on to some framing. All right, given that I only have one really full day a week to work on this greenhouse, I've been doing my framing inside of the barn, mostly because that day is as often as not a rainy day, and the pole barn provides a nice flat dry place to get those walls built. So I'm on the 3rd wall now. Today happens to be sunny, but hopefully I'll get that wall done today. I'm pretty sure I will. Let me show you where I'm at. So here you can see wall number 3. It's one of the long walls, 16.5 feet long. You can tell by my frames that there's a whole lot of window and not a whole lot of wall. And so I'm fortunate that we're not really in a snow zone here in Kentucky, and the roof is going to weigh very little with the roofing material that I've selected that you'll see in an upcoming video. And I'm going to be dependent on the windows to provide a lot of the strength in keeping this from racking and twisting. So once the windows are in, that's going to add a lot more strength. But for now, it does look a little flimsy, but I'm certain it's going to work out just fine. nothing at the moment.
I'm going to go and clean inside then.
All right. Well, the walls are finally up, so I think it's time for a quick update. There are definitely benefits of using free windows, and that is the price is free. But in the case of this particular greenhouse, there are some challenges with using free windows, and that is a complete lack of consistency. So I don't know if you can notice it there in the front or not, but the left window is 32 inches wide, the door is 34 inches wide, and the window on the right is going to be 36 inches wide. So looking at this side, we got two big bay windows, one on each side, and a smaller window in the middle. But none of the walls are the same. So I had to work into my design multiple sizes and shapes. An example here on the back wall, all three windows are the same width, but one is shorter, so I put it in the middle. And on the remaining long wall, I've got a bay window at the front and then three single windows working my way backwards, so it's different than the opposite side. It is pretty awesome when you get to the point with the walls on. You really get a feel of the size of the building you're building. Hopefully it's not going to be like the barn where I wish I built it 20 feet longer. But this is going to be a sizable greenhouse, and I think it'll meet our needs just fine. Well, it's time to get ready to put the rafters on. So my process for building the rafters, very similar to that of the walls. I've been picking away at it when I have a chance at night here in the barn. Again, another nice day, but the rest of this long weekend is going to be rainy. But I'm going to continue to put these rafters together, and then we'll go outside and we'll put them on the greenhouse. Another indication how long this project has taken me. The grass is already growing. But anyway, let's get those rafters up there. Might be in the rain. The roofing system that I picked out for the greenhouse requires, per the installation instructions, that it be supported every 2 feet. So you can see some rafters hanging upside down now. I'm going to be installing rafters every 4 feet, and then after I get the ridge beam in, I'm going to come back and fill in between each one of those rafters with just the diagonal roof members. All the main rafters are now in, and I've added some diagonal supports there to keep them somewhat true until I get the ridge beam installed. You can see here in the middle I had to use a couple ratchet straps to draw the two sides together about a third of an inch so that the rafter would fit in there where it's supposed to. So no big deal, we got that taken care of. Time to move on. As you can see here, I need a 20-foot ridge beam for the top of my greenhouse, but all I've got is 8 and 10-foot lengths of 2x6. So I got to go ahead and make use of, I think, 2 scarf joints to make 1 ridge beam. There you have it, 1 installed ridge beam on the greenhouse, complete with scarf joints. There's one there in the middle of that frame, one just to the right of that rafter. So we've reached the point in the episode where it's time to talk dollars. So how much did we spend on framing and how much have we spent to date? Now, carryover costs from episode 1 foundations was $1,275. But in this episode, spent $150 on the PVC drain pipe that's going to be the future overflow for the rainwater collection. $35 in additional grout for the walkway. $25 for the expansion joint for the walkway. Lumber, $860. Screws were $145. Now I know a rational, sane man would have used nails, but I used deck screws throughout. So this episode's total is $1,215, and my grand total so far is $2,490 for this greenhouse build. So I can't wait for those free windows to kick in. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Try New Things on the greenhouse build, episode number 2. We finally got the framing 100% complete. I do got to trim the ends off some boards up there, but other than that, it is finally done. I'm so excited to move on to windows. So if you got any questions or comments, leave them below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.